Hello, my name is Chris, and I call my garage the Motor House. And welcome to what I think is going to be episode 3 of the restoration of the Lotus 7, 1977, Lotus Series 4-7. So, first, I guess it's always good to consider how a 7 is constructed, especially an S4. Now, this is a prototype. It has some differences, but basically it is the same in many aspects. So I'm going to focus this episode on the body and what damage there is and how I think it comes apart and goes on, because I've never seen the body removed and I've never seen the body installed. So on 107. So what I gather is, let's see if we can do this with my finger and look this right. Okay. So this section right here of the fiberglass tub, I believe, goes in on an angle and fits underneath this cross member shelf. And then the body just drops down over top of the chassis. And this chassis is inside this section here. So it's supported through places on the floor, this side, and then the rear cross member, the upper cross member, supports the back of the body. So we flip around to this. You can see the cross member. You can see the body, and this is the gasket in between. So it would go down and fit all the way up to the front of that. That's how I think it comes apart. It has to go out on an angle. Now, I'll start on this side. A couple of minor things. This crack here is a result of the accident on the back right, and a reminder that this car was in a right rear end accident. Somebody ran a red light, from what I'm told, and hit the car in the right rear and caused all this damage. So yes, it's a fracture here, damage here, here. But I do want you to notice, see if I can do this right. See the profile? There is, let's see if I can get my finger in here. This is a raised little line all the way through. I hope it comes out in the camera. You can see a lot of the spiderweb cracks and some of the repairs that have been made. So this section cracked all the way through, and they did a quick patch. And if I can get the light on, let's see if I can get this up out of the way. Looks like that repair was done. Let me set that down. Was done up to there in order to keep that whole. And repaired on the inside. And the crack is basically still there. Then we come over to this side where we can see the crack is here. It went down and all the way down through that side. If I come up inside, see how well this works. You can see the repairs there, and it looks like they might have done some work here too, unless that's part of the original body, which I'm going to get into that part in a moment. So we get to the major area, which basically starts here, the crack, and then all of this was kind of hodgepodge together in order to try to keep it whole. And if we try to look down, you've got to recreate the line that's on the other side. When we get down to this section here, see the crack all the way through, and it goes into here. Now the interesting thing that I've been trying to work out, now I've worked on Europas, Elans for a friend, let's see, a friend's Elan, M100s, Elites, Sprees have done lots of different Lotuses, taken bodies off of the old Lotuses and done full restorations. So I've got an idea how a lot of things were kind of done on Lotuses. The body, if I do this, kind of, let's see if I can get it to show up better. This section, this piece here is separate from this piece in the tub. Sorry, this piece here is separate from this piece in the tub. So this outer piece here looks like it was molded with orange gel coat and then painted and set down over the tub, the inside tub. And the only thing that's actually cracked is this outer piece. That's been damaged there, all the way here, and the crack in the back. So I'm trying to figure construction out is at what point does the outer and the inner tub connect? Because if I look here, they look to be separate. I go to the other side, and they're also separate. So this is, I'm trying to work out how this was put together at the factory. And if it's two pieces and bonded together and put on the car, or put on the car in two pieces, bonded on the car. For repair purposes, what am I looking at? That's kind of how I'm doing it. So, I'd like to get some more information if anybody has it about seeing the bodies off. Somebody with photos of the body, upside down. You take a look at it. I've got a lot of photos I find of the chassis. These are attachment bolts for the body to the chassis, and the Lotus manual does state that if the body does not meet the metal of the chassis, that you should shim it. Don't force it down, bolting it down, shim it so that there's no stress on it. So for repairs, getting this off, getting the body off, let me see if I can come back a little bit for this, is when I go to lift the body off the chassis, I have to be careful not to stress the fracture areas so that they don't break more and cause more problems. So I have to lift the body off the chassis in order to be able to repair the chassis and the body. And then I'm thinking about building a simple frame that the body can sit on, so there's no stress for the rear side hanging off. Because really, once you take it off, you got a big flat section on the bottom that it could sit on the floor, but this whole back area then is up in the air, and you've got a pivot point on this side, and we'll say straight over to the other, where the back is flopping some. And I think building a frame, at least for transporting, for getting work done on a fiberglass, is going to be the best thing on it. So, just looking ahead to some of the work, trying to plan a couple steps ahead before I get there. And attachment went to the body. There are some in the bottom corner where the seat belts were. There's actually these attachment points too that go through to the chassis and are bolted. And what we'll do, sorry I'm swinging around like this, but through the kindness of someone else with Lotuses, they sent me an original scan of the S4 chassis. And if we look at these points right here, that's where those two bolts that hold the window frame, the windshield frame in, go. So what I consider is that this is the front cross member right here, and that the body goes down up underneath it, and it sits here, and this is the passenger and driver opening, which goes down. The body curves up. It doesn't sit on this. It curves up above it and then sits on the shelf and then goes to the back. So let's look over here real quick. If you notice that, how it's put together there. Let me go back to this. My concern is the damage is really, there's a damage point here, and that I have to support the back section of the body so that it doesn't overstress it sitting up in the air while the repairs are done. And with the measurements here, very good measurements, I can get close to making a simple frame up and then tweak it as needed when the bodies come off. Now this is a standard S4 chassis. It does not have some of the changes that were made for this prototype. This chassis is longer by 4 inches, I believe they've told me, and that there are, let's get into this area right here. There are extra diagonal supports from this point over on this one, on the very bottom. That's extra. And this cross member is not there because of the 907 engine, but there is a small piece that goes down which is part of, so I'm not sure how much it supports, but it has to do with the steering rack. So that's where I'm at right now, trying to figure out how, let me jump back here a bit. How do I get the body off and then support it in a way that it can be repaired without causing more problems? So, but I do think that the tub, going back to this side, I do think that looking, let me see if I flip this around the right way here, is if you see the crack there, it moves and the tub doesn't. So this is the piece that will need fixed, this section on the outside, but the tub doesn't seem to be damaged at all. So that, how the two of them relate to each other, well, when I can get up inside there and look with no chassis in the way, is going to be interesting. And I think the whole back end dropped a little bit. I think it dropped down a little in the accident. Because looking at, let's try to analyze this crack here. I don't know how well it'll show up on the video, but this area holds a very good right angle, and you can see how the fender backed away and broke backwards. So by lifting the rear end up, will that bring that back into alignment? And cleaning this up, and well, let's see if I can get my hand to bring this up and back into alignment to work. It's going to take a few brain cells to work this out, but trying to get ahead. And if anybody has actually worked on an S4 body before and has some information they can pass on, sorry about that, I would really appreciate it. So thanks for those who are interested in the restoration. I do the work. I'm not a professional filmer. I don't like editing much. So, and I'm by myself, so I do the best I can filming what I do. So, thank you for watching and following along as I get this done. Just trying to get enough information right now. All right, not sure what the next episode will be. Probably I'll look at wiring. So this is just a look at work to do on the body. Thanks for watching.